In the autumn of 1978, I stabbed a 600-gene brown bear to death with 2 knife thrusts. Everyone in the village said I'd gone crazy. They didn't know I had been reborn, a soldier from the Sharp Sword Special Forces in my previous life. Just as we finished with the bear and were about to split the spoils, 2 wolves suddenly appeared on the hillside. I raised a hand and pressed down my companion's gun. Don't shoot. That's a mother wolf that just gave birth. In the autumn of 1978, in Yushu Village, Zhengguangcai Ridge, Changbai Mountain, I sat under the yew tree in my own yard, wiping down that Type 56 semi-auto rifle. The yew tree was laden with bright red little berries, and sunlight filtered down through the branches and leaves. I wiped each part clean one by one, assembled it, worked the bolt, braced the stock against my shoulder, and scanned the surroundings. I had just aimed the muzzle toward the doorway when a scream came from outside. Oh, my mother, Aunt Ho Hot, in her 40s, plopped down on the ground at my doorway. I quickly lowered the gun and ran over to help her up. Kid, how can you be so reckless? How can you just point a gun at people? Aunt Ho Hot patted her chest, still shaken. Auntie, I was just cleaning the gun. There's no bullet in it. I explained. Why on earth are you cleaning a gun? Going into the mountains to hunt. I nodded. I'm planning to go into the mountains to gather herbs, and, while I'm at it, see if there's any game around. Aunt Ho Hot's eyes lit up, and she gestured as she spoke. Oh my. I went into the mountains this morning and ran into a brown bear in Old Ravine Gully. Huge, at least 600 or 700 gene. I was so scared I didn't pick a thing and turned right around and ran back. A brown bear is just that, a brown bear. Around here, we call black bears blind bears and brown bears xiongpi. A 600 or 700 gene brute. Now that's something. Perfect, then. I'll go into the mountains tomorrow and take it down. When I sell the bear gallbladder, I'll count you in for a share. I said with a smile, then asked, Andy, what did you come to see me for? If you hadn't said that, I'd have forgotten. My Shoshin just had a baby and can't pee. Do you have any remedy? Postpartum urinary retention. I went into the house, grabbed a handful of perilla leaves from the medicine cabinet, wrapped them in yellow grass paper, and gave them to her. Boil them in water and drink it. 2 doses, and she'll be fine. Aunt Ho Hot wanted to pay, but I waved my hand. What money? It's all herbs I picked myself. She kept saying what a kind and loyal child I was, then turned and left. I sat back down on the stone stool and continued cleaning the gun. You might not believe it, but just a few days ago, I was still a 60-year-old man in Snow City, telling my grandsons and granddaughters stories about hunting. After one sleep, I woke up back at 18. In my previous life, I had been a Special Forces soldier and seen combat. After retiring from the military, I devoted myself to studying my family's inherited medical skills, and in my later years, I became somewhat well-known. But that's how people are. The older they get, the more nostalgic they become. I went on about the old days so much that heaven really did send me back. Since I'm here, I'll make the best of it. In this life, I don't plan to join the army. I'll stay in the village and be a medic. Hunt a little, gather herbs a little, treat the folks in the village, and live a simple life this time around. My body was brimming with strength, even stronger than at my peak back then. This was probably a perk from heaven. I had just finished assembling the gun when Brigade Leader Yang Guangfu stood at the yard gate and called out to me. Yang Guangfu is my future father-in-law, though right now his daughter, and I still haven't made things clear. Hongjun, I heard from Ho Hot that you're going into the mountains to hunt a brown bear. He walked into the yard without sitting down and stared at me. Going by yourself? That's just delivering rations to the bear. Even tigers don't want to mess with that thing. I smiled. Uncle Yang, I've practiced Xingyi Quan with my father, and I've been going into the mountains since I was 16. I've even come face to face with tigers. With the Type 56, within 200 meters I dare say, I can blow its head off with one shot. I'm really not being impulsive. He sucked on his pipe bowl for quite a while in silence. You're as stubborn as a mule, kid. Fine, let victory go with you. Sure, thanks Uncle Yang. Qian Xingli is the militia captain of our village. He had served in the military and fought in wars, and was also a well-known marksman in the village. With him along, we'd have extra backup. Yang Guangfu then asked me again about joining the army, saying the slot had been obtained personally by Secretary Dong, who called a former comrade in arms for it. I was firm in my attitude. I wasn't going, I was staying in the village. He sighed and didn't try to persuade me again. At first light the next day, I got out of bed. I tightened my leg wraps. If you don't bind your legs when walking in the mountains, bugs, snakes, and scorpions will crawl up your pant legs. After checking the magazines, I stuffed 50 rounds of ammunition and 20 white flour flatbreads into my satchel, which I had specially baked last night. Once I had everything packed up neatly, Qian Shengli arrived leading 4 dogs. Brother Shengli, have you eaten yet? Already ate, let's go? He looked me over and broke into a grin. His dogs really were in fine form. The lead dog, Heihu, was a purebred Mongolian sighthound, over 70 centimeters at the shoulder with a broad frame. The 4 helper dogs were all Heihu's offspring, each with thick, sturdy legs, wide mouths, and sharp teeth. From the moment they arrived until now, they hadn't made a sound. They were well trained. Brother Shengli, your dogs are really good. When they have pups, let me take 2. I took 2 of the leashes from him. Of course, what else is there to say? Aria has been in heat lately. When she has the litter, you get first pick. Qian Shengli agreed readily, then suddenly asked me, you're really not going to join the army? Really not going. The village is short on doctors, so I'm staying to be the medic. That's great. The smile on Qian Shengli's face deepened. In mountain villages, medics hold a very high status. Across the 18 villages of Taipinggu, fewer than 1/3 have a medic. Each of us led 2 dogs as we walked along the ridge. Not letting the dogs loose was a rule. Otherwise, if they ran into a wild boar or something halfway there and the dogs started barking, should you follow them or not? Should you fight or not? Only after confirming the target do you release the dogs. After walking for a little less than an hour, we climbed onto a mountain ridge. Qian Shengli pointed toward a distant ravine. In that old Yugo, there's a patch of wild jujube woods. And bears are greedy eaters. Once they've eaten their fill, they won't move from their spot. At the bottom of the ravine was a small river, about 3 meters wide and about 1 meter deep, clear to the bottom. We crossed on stepping stones, and just as we reached the bank, Heihu suddenly let out a low growl in his throat, then lifted his head and started barking. He'd caught the scent of a bear. At the same time, the 2 of us untied the leashes, and the 4 dogs shot out like arrows. Brother Shengli, I'm fast on my feet. I'll follow Heihu first, you come after. I shouted, then took off in pursuit. In my previous life, I was used to running through mountain forests, and in this life my body was even stronger, but those 4 dogs were truly fast, and I could only make sure not to get left behind. As soon as I rounded the ridge, the barking ahead in the scrub forest turned urgent. From the sound of it, they'd already latched onto it. I plunged into the woods to look, and my heart leaped with joy. We hadn't chased the wrong one. It was that bear. This thing doesn't live in groups. Within a radius of 1 or 2 kilometers, there wouldn't be a second one. It had to be it. The massive beast, 600 or 700 gene, was standing upright, swinging its huge paws to drive off the pack. Heihu, together with Dahe and Sanhai, had formed a triangle around it and were snapping and tearing at it, while Arai lay in the distance, and I didn't know how badly it was hurt. Looking carefully, I saw an old wound on the bear's left foreleg. The skin and flesh split open, and that leg basically didn't dare touch the ground. It was a wounded one that had survived a gunshot. No wonder a pack of dogs had managed to pin it down. With a click, I opened the bayonet, its tip flashing with cold light. I didn't fire the gun. First, I was afraid of hitting the dogs. Second, I was completely confident I could kill this bear with my own hands. Taking a deep breath, I charged straight at the bear. The bear spotted me, let out an ear-splitting roar, and swung its right paw at my face. I stopped sharply, leaned my body to the left, and used the dragon form footwork of Xingyi Quan, instantly circling from its left side to behind it. Gripping the rifle tightly with both hands, I aimed the bayonet at the center of its back and drove it in hard. Puffed. The blade sank into flesh. With a twist and turn of my wrist, I widened the wound, then yanked the blade free and sprang backward. The entire sequence was clean and decisive, taking less than 2 seconds from start to finish. The bear, racked with pain, roared wildly as it turned and swiped at me. I used a triangular step and slipped past from the left again. Its eyes were blood red as it dropped to all fours and charged straight at me. I sidestepped, and the bear missed, crashing down with a thunderous tumble. Just then, Black Tiger seized the chance and bit down on the bear's crotch from behind. The bear let out a shrill, miserable scream and dropped onto its rear, trying to crush Black Tiger beneath it. What a perfect opportunity. I lunged forward in a flash, aimed the bayonet at its chest, and drove it in viciously. My wrist twisted again, shredding the heart to pieces. I yanked the blade free and jumped back, and a jet of blood sprayed out. The enormous bear's body stiffened for a moment, then crashed to the ground. Its limbs twitched a few times before going completely still. The whole process took less than 3 minutes. I stood by and waited a few more minutes, and only moved closer after making sure it was thoroughly dead. On the hillside, Qian Shengli had seen everything clearly. He told me afterward that he had shuddered all over at the time. This kid is too ruthless. He could obviously have just shot it from a distance, but insisted on using a knife. Both strikes went straight for vital spots, quick and neat like killing a chicken. The second son of the Liu family is really something. I pulled out the hunting knife and slit open the bear's belly. First, I pulled out the already shattered heart and tossed it to Black Tiger, then carefully removed the bear gallbladder. It was a bronze gallbladder the size of a bull's mouth, heavy in the hand. A brown bear's gallbladder isn't worth as much as a black bear's, but this one could still sell for well over a few hundred yuan. Brother Xingli, let's do it by the rules. I looked up and said to Qian Xingli, who had hurried over. You provided manpower and dogs, so you get 2 shares. I did the work, so I get 2 shares. Aunt Hohot provided the information, so she gets 1 share. We'll divide the money according to shares after it's sold. Qian Xingli gave me a thumbs up. Hongjun, you're honorable. We'll do it just as you said. He circled the bear once, clicking his tongue in amazement. This 5 or 600 gene brute. Kid, you really aren't afraid of anything. Good thing Black Tiger used that crotch-grabbing move, otherwise it wouldn't have gone so smoothly. I put the bear gallbladder into a cloth bag, then pulled out the other organs and fed them to the 3 helper dogs. Just then, Big Black, who had been gnawing on the organs, suddenly stopped. Right after that, Black Tiger also lifted its head, a low whine rumbling from its throat, and then started barking madly toward the hillside. All 4 dogs instantly went on full alert. Their barks urgent and vicious, even fiercer than when they had surrounded the bear just now. Qian Xingli and I both grabbed our guns at the same time. On the opposite hillside, 2 grayish-yellow wolves had appeared at some unknown moment. They were powerfully built, standing on the rocks and staring down at us coldly from above. The mountain wind blew from behind them, making their course stiff for tremble slightly. There was hunger in those eyes, caution too, and also something hard to describe. They were here to pick up easy spoils. Wolves have keen noses. The smell of blood can drift for miles. Damn it, looking for death. Qian Xingli cursed under his breath and raised his gun to aim. At the very instant he pulled the trigger, I suddenly caught sight of one wolf's belly. Its teats were swollen, its fur disheveled. It was a she-wolf that had just nursed cubs. I shot my hand up and shoved his barrel upward. Bang! The bullet whistled into the sky. Qian Xingli was startled. Junzi, what are you doing? Brother Xingli. I pressed down on his gun and stared at the 2 wolves on the hillside. The one with the swollen belly is a mother wolf that just had pups. Startled by the gunshot, the 2 wild wolves turned and vanished over the hillside. But Black Tiger had already bolted out with Big Black, Second Black, and Third Black. To hunting dogs, a gunshot is the signal to attack. Junzi, are you thinking of digging out the wolf cubs? Qian Xingli instantly understood what Lu Hongjun meant. Right. It just so happens that I want to raise a few dogs here, and these wolf cubs would be perfect, good dogs delivered right to my door, wouldn't they? Lu Hongjun said with a smile. Hunters do not shoot wild animals that are still nursing young, but that does not mean they will not shoot wild animals that have already given birth. Lu Hongjun stopped Qian Xingli from shooting in order to track them. Follow the wild wolves' tracks to dig out the wolf cubs. Wolf cubs, if trained well, are the top-tier hunting dogs. Then, if they are bred with domestic hunting dogs, you can get first-generation wolf dogs. The Langqing wolves here in the northeast are top-tier hunting dogs bred by crossbreeding wild wolves with domestic dogs. Still, Lu Hongjun led in front, with Qian Xingli behind, following Heihu up the hill, then chasing after the sound of Heihu's barking. After going around a mountain gully, they saw Heihu, along with Dahe, Arii, and Sanhai, locked in a fight with 2 wild wolves. In terms of size, Heihu and the other 4 dogs were all monksy crosses, quite a bit larger than the wild wolves. But even with 4 dogs against 2, Heihu's group still failed to gain the upper hand, and the 2 sides felt somewhat evenly matched. This also showed how fierce the wild wolves were. Lu Hongjun did not dare fire his gun either. The 4 dogs and 2 wolves were all tangled up together, and once he fired, it would be very easy to skewer them together and hurt the dogs. Lu Hongjun switched on the safety and unfolded the bayonet. Carrying the gun, he walked up. When the fighting wild wolves saw Lu Hongjun arrive, their howls were filled with anxiety and sorrow, but they still fought to the death without retreating. One of the male wolves even slammed Heihu aside and lunged straight at Lu Hongjun. Unfortunately, what it faced was Lu Hongjun, a special forces soldier who had come through a hail of bullets. He thrust out with a level bayonet strike, lifting the male wolf into midair, then flung it, tossing it back beside Heihu. Heihu would not let such a perfect opportunity slip by and clamped directly onto the male wolf's neck with one bite. As for Heihu's 3 dog sons, whether it was Dahe, Arii, or Sanhai, One of them bit into the male wolf's belly. They pinned the male wolf, which had not yet breathed its last, firmly to the ground. Awoo! The she-wolf let out a shrill cry, slammed aside the dogs attacking her, turned, and ran into the mountain forest. Two black dogs immediately chased after her. Lu Hongjun unhurriedly switched off the safety and slung the Type 56 half over his back. He pulled the hunting knife from his waist, walked over to the male wolf, and drove the blade into its heart, ending its suffering. Lu Hongjun did not bother with the she-wolf. Now was not the time to kill it yet. The she-wolf's mission was not yet complete. Although the wild wolves had just looked ready to fight to the death, as if the den were nearby, this was actually all to confuse the enemy. Wild wolves are extremely cunning. However, no matter how cunning a wild wolf is, it cannot outmatch an experienced hunter. After Lu Hongjun slit open the wild wolf's belly and fed the heart to Heihu and the other 4 dogs, Qian Shengli also arrived, panting, and searched the surrounding area, but did not find a wolf den nearby. Brother Shengli, wait here a moment. I'll take Heihu and keep chasing ahead. Lu Hongjun said to Qian Shengli. Oh, okay. I really am getting old. Back when I used to hunt, crossing mountains and ridges, running 100 li or so in a day felt like nothing. Now, after only running a dozen or so li, I already. Qian Shengli said between gasps. Brother Shingli's stamina is only lacking because he's been staying up late all this time recently. After you rest for a while, by the time winter hunting season comes, you'll be fine. Lu Hongjun offered a word of comfort, then took out a rope and tethered Heihu. After Qian Shengli caught his breath, the 2 men led Heihu and Dahe, following the tracks of Ariai and Sanhai all the way in pursuit of the she-wolf. Ariai and Sanhai had already chased after it, so there was no need to worry about losing the trail. This she-wolf really is cunning, Lu Hongjun said as he chopped away the branches blocking the path. That's right, many wolf packs have she-wolves as their alphas. She-wolves are incredibly smart, Qian Shengli echoed. While fleeing, this she-wolf specifically kept diving into the bushes, making Lu Hongjun and Qian Shengli, who were tracking behind her, suffer greatly. But having come this far, they had no choice but to keep chasing. Heihu would tilt his head back and bark from time to time, calling out to his 2 dog sons. But there was no response. After chasing for quite a while longer, they finally heard barking. Damn! When Lu Hongjun and Qian Shengli reached the scene, they couldn't help but curse aloud. This she-wolf is really damn cunning. After making a big loop, she circled back, and the wolf den was right beneath the cliff not far from the mixed-wood forest. No wonder those 2 wolves, just now, had appeared before them in seeming defiance of natural behavior. It turned out that when they had hunted the bear just now, they had accidentally intruded into the wolf's territory. Showing themselves just now had been to lure them away. Yet after all the twists and turns, they ultimately ended up back at the wolf den. At this moment, the she-wolf was desperately entangled in a fierce fight with Ariai and Sanhai. Lu Hongjun and Qian Shengli quickly untied Heihu and Dahe. In an instant, Heihu and Dahe shot out and joined the fight. Originally, when facing only Ariai and Sanhai, the she-wolf had barely been able to hold on. But the moment Heihu and Dahe joined in, the situation changed instantly. After only a few exchanges, Heihu bit the she-wolf by the neck and pinned her to the ground. Dahe and Ariai bit her legs, while Sanhai bit her belly. The she-wolf let out mournful cries, barely managing to twist her head to look at her den, at her children, tears flowing from her eyes. For a moment, Lu Hongjun truly had the thought of sparing the she-wolf and her pups. But he immediately snuffed out that thought. This was the wilderness. There was no compassion here, only the survival law of kill or be killed. If he had been alone today and run into these 2 wolves, they definitely would not have let him go. Drawing his hunting knife, he walked up to the she-wolf and said softly, "Don't worry. I will raise your children and train them into the finest hunting dogs." Then he drove the knife into the she-wolf's heart, ending her life. "Junzi, come here quick." At this moment, Qian Shengli shouted excitedly, "Your luck is incredible. 2 wolf cubs, and one of them is a white wolf." Qian Shengli continued, "A white wolf is actually a condition, animal albinism. White tigers, white deer, white wolves, white lions, and so on are regarded by humans as auspicious signs, symbols of good fortune. In fact, animal albinism is very common. The reason it is considered rare is that once an animal has albinism, it is very hard for it to survive to adulthood. Most are abandoned by their group in infancy or killed by predators. The 2 wolf cubs were about 1 month old and both quite robust. At this moment, they were crouching on the ground, posturing aggressively toward Qian Shengli and Lu Hongjun. Their babyish cries were adorable and cute. But in Lu Hongjuan's eyes, these two wolf cubs were full of spirit. Brother Xingli, let's take one each. I'll take advantage a little and choose the white wolf. Lu Hongjun said to Qian Xingli with a smile. Junzi, you can have both of these wolf cubs. I don't want them. I don't have the skill to tame them. When the next generation of wolf dogs is bred, just let me pick one. Qian Xingli shook his head and rejected Lu Hongjuan's suggestion. All right, when the time comes, Brother Xingli gets first pick. Lu Hongjun promised with a smile. Then he walked over to the wolf cubs, picked them up, examined them one by one, and then put them into his shoulder bag. Of the two wolf cubs, the white wolf was a male, and the other black-gray cub was a female. Judging by their size and the condition of the mother wolf, they should be less than a month old and still nursing. While Lu Hongjun was putting the wolf cubs into his shoulder bag, Qian Xingli had already cut open the mother wolf's belly, pulled out the internal organs, and fed them to Black Tiger and the others. Not continuing the hunt, Qian Xingli directly fed Black Tiger his fill. Then he led the dogs down the mountain. They had pretty good luck today, Lu Hongjun thought happily as he walked along the mountain path. Not only had they bagged a bear, but they had also caught two wolf cubs. Brother Hongjun, now that you have wolf cubs, are you still going to catch puppy pups? Of course. Not only that, I need to catch several more. The wolf cubs and puppies have to live together from an early age, so it'll be easier to tame them, Lu Hongjun said. Wolves have wolf nature, and dogs have dog nature. If wolf cubs and puppies live together from an early age, the wolf nature will rub off on the puppies, making the dogs raised this way even fiercer. At the same time, the dog nature will also rub off on the wolf cubs, making the wolf cubs that grow up with dogs become gentler and easier to tame. Catching wolf cubs and raising them into hunting dogs is an ancient tradition in the Northeast. Many old hunters like to dig out wolf cubs and tame them. Hunters capable of taming wolf cubs are all top-tier hunters, marksmen. Not just anyone can be called a marksman. Only the very best hunters are respectfully addressed that way. Zhang Pao, Li Pao, Wang Pao. These are all honorific titles for hunters, a kind of distinction. When they came to the bear they had just killed, Lu Hongjun cut off the bear's nose, paws, and kneecaps. As for the bear itself, this one weighed a full 600 or 700 jin, and there was no way Lu Hongjun and Qian Xingli could get it down the mountain by themselves. They could only leave it here for now and have Captain Yang organize people to carry it down later. The two wolves would also have to wait for Captain Yang to send people to deal with them. They had gone into the mountains a little after 5 in the morning, and when they came back, it was not yet 11. He put the wolf cubs into the dog pen. At Lu Hongjuan's home, near the west wall, the far southwest corner was the toilet, and next to it were 2 dog kennels, one large and one small, with an enclosure, one, built of stones outside. And inside there were small stone-built little rooms, which were the actual dog kennels. The outside one was called the dog pen, one. The large one was where the dogs usually lived, and the small one was specially prepared for female dogs. When a female dog went into heat, it would be shut separately in the small pen, one, and the male dog selected for mating would be shut in with it as well. Lu Hongjun put the wolf cubs into the small dog pen. As soon as the 2 little cubs were set down, they immediately pressed close together, bared their teeth at the surroundings, and let out bursts of childish cries. They really were worthy of being wolf cubs, so alert. The more Lu Hongjun looked at them, the more he liked them. Lu Hongjun went into the house and found a can of malted milk, mixed up more than half a basin, and placed it in the dog pen. The 2 cubs did not go forward to drink it, but continued huddling together, keeping watch over their surroundings. Lu Hongjun did not bother with them either. They had just been moved to a strange new place. And after a while, once they slowly got used to it, they would come over to eat. Lu Hongjun washed his hands and prepared to make lunch. He hadn't eaten the pancakes he had prepared last night either. Perfect, we'll stew a pot of vegetables for lunch and eat it with soaked flatbread. He went to the backyard and picked 2 eggplants, washed them in a basin, and without peeling them, tore them apart directly with his hands. Then he went to the root cellar and took out a piece of salted pork, washed it clean, and cut it into chunks. He prepared the scallions and ginger. Brother Hongjun, you're back? Are you okay? Lu Hongjun had just lit the fire when a tall young girl came in through the doorway. I'm fine. At the sight of the girl, a faint smile appeared on Lu Hongjuan's face. This was Captain Yang's youngest daughter, Yang Xiuyan, and also his future wife. If nothing changed, they would get engaged this autumn, and then in his previous life. When he went off to the army, Yang Xiuyan waited for him for 5 years. I heard from my dad that you went into the mountains. I was worried sick about you. Yang Xiuyan stood opposite Lu Hongjun and said with a face full of concern, what could possibly happen? If you don't trust my abilities, can it be that you don't trust Brother Xingli's abilities either? Lu Hongjun said with a smile. I trust your abilities. Brother Hongjun is the best. Yang Xiuyan looked at Lu Hongjun and said in a crisp voice. Looking at Yang Xiuyan, whose eyes were full of admiration, a warm smile appeared on Lu Hongjun's face. Brother Hongjun, I heard from my dad that you don't want to join the army? Like a little swallow, Yang Xiuyan stood beside Lu Hongjun, chirping away. I'm planning to stay in the village and be a medic. Brother Hongjun, haven't you always wanted to join the army? Go ahead and join the army without worry. I'll keep waiting for you. Yang Xiuyan said, blushing. I don't want to go anymore. I want to stay and be a medic. Or is it that you want me to join the army? Lu Hongjun deliberately teased Yang Xiuyan. I don't want that. Brother Hongjun, when I think about you going off to the army and not being able to see you for a long time, Yang Xiuyan's face turned as red as the evening clouds. Lowering her head and fidgeting with her fingers. Lu Hongjun tended the stove while chatting with Yang Xiuyan. The two of them could be considered childhood sweethearts. It's just that, in his previous life, Lu Hongjun's thoughts were not on Yang Xiuyan. It wasn't until later that, the pot is hot. Seeing that Lu Hongjun had lit the fire, Yang Xiuyan stepped forward of her own accord, found the jar of lard, scooped out a spoonful, and put it into the pot. Put in a bit more, we're having stewed eggplant for lunch. Okay. Yang Xiuyan scooped out another spoonful of lard. Lu Hongjun tended the stove while Yang Xiuyan cooked the stew. The two worked together very well, and before long the eggplant was stewing in the pot. Stay here and eat with me at noon. No, I snuck over here. I have to hurry home. The meal at home hasn't been made yet. Only after Lu Hongjun reminded her did Yang Xiuyan remember that it was already noon. Her parents working in the fields, as well as her elder brother and sister-in-law, should all be coming back to eat soon. She had been so busy helping Lu Hongjun cook that the meal at home still wasn't made. Lu Hongjun did not try to keep Yang Xiuyan any longer. He simply took out a pair of bare kneecaps from his shoulder bag and handed them to Yang Xiuyan. Take these back and give them to my uncle Yang. Just say you came to get the kneecaps. Brother Hongjun, you're so smart. If I say I came to get bare kneecaps for my dad, he won't scold me. Yang Xiuyan happily accepted the bare kneecaps. Watching Yang Xiuyan skip away, the smile on Lu Hongjun's face gradually faded. Yang Xiuyan was only 17 this year. In later times, she'd still be just a child. But in this era, at 17, she was already taking on most of the household chores. Many girls were already married by 17, and some had even become mothers. After seeing Yang Xiuyan off, Lu Hongjun looked into the pot, added some more water, then put another piece of firewood into the stove. Hongjun cooking? A young married woman carrying a 3- or 4-year-old child walked in. Sister-in-law Xiangcao, you're here. Seeing who it was, Lu Hongjun stood up to greet her. Hongjun, my eldest nephew at home. I don't know what he ate, but he's had diarrhea since yesterday. Xiangcao said to Lu Hongjun somewhat embarrassedly. He was in the middle of cooking, and she came over to talk about diarrhea, which really wasn't very proper. But she could not say it. Lu Hongjun didn't mind this at all. What doctor would care about that? Not to mention this. In his previous life, on the battlefield, after a fight, standing guard over corpses, even with the enemy's blood still on his hands, didn't he still stuff steamed buns into his mouth all the same? While taking the child's pulse, he asked, diarrhea? What shape is it when it comes out? Is there foam in the stool? It's all watery, thin like water, with yellow foam in it. Has he vomited? No. It's nothing serious. This is dysentery. Sister-in-law Xiangcao, do you have garlic at home? We do. As long as you have garlic, that's fine. I'll first give eldest nephew 2 acupuncture needles. Then when you get home, roast 2 heads of garlic for eldest nephew to eat, and he'll get better. Roasted garlic can really work? Yes, roasted garlic is excellent for treating dysentery and diarrhea. Lu Hongjun said with a smile. Lu Hongjun went into the house and found the alcohol lamp and the acupuncture kit his father had left behind. After lighting the alcohol lamp, he first heated the silver needles over it, then wiped them once with an alcohol swab, and inserted 1 needle each at Zusanli and Shinmin. All right, when you get home, remember to roast 2 heads of garlic to eat. Lu Hongjun pulled out the silver needles and instructed Xiangcao again. I'll go back and roast garlic for him right away. Thank you, Hongjun. I came in a hurry. Sister-in-law didn't bring any money. Later, I'll have your brother Quanhai bring it over to you. After saying that, Xiangcao happily walked out carrying the child. No rush. When you get home, use warm water, add just a tiny bit of salt, and feed it to the child. Lu Hongjun shouted toward Xiangcao's back. Xiangcao hurried off carrying the child. After seeing Xiang Cao off, Lu Hongjun washed his hands and prepared to eat. Lifting the lid off the pot, a burst of meat fragrance rushed at him. Braised eggplant with meat and soaked flatbread were a perfect match. Eggplant likes oil. Eggplant stewed with lard and pork smelled richly meaty. The otherwise bland flatbread, after absorbing the eggplant broth, became incredibly fragrant. Lu Hongjun took a look and saw there was still quite a lot of broth in it. Anyway, he wasn't in a hurry to eat, so he put the lid back on and let it simmer a while longer. He went into the house, found a medical book, and sat under the zishan tree to read. What his family had the most of was medical books. He had no idea how his father had collected them. In his previous life, because he went off to join the army and was gone for 15 years, these medical books were all put away by his eldest brother. After he was discharged, because his eldest brother moved several times, most of these medical books were lost, which filled him with regret. After reading medical books for a while, when he saw that the fire under the pot had gone out, Lu Hongjun put away the medical book, lifted the lid, and ladled the stewed eggplant into a basin. Because people in the Northeast eat a lot of stewed dishes, every household had no shortage of basins. Not porcelain basins, but basins fired from clay pottery by the nearby commune. He didn't know whether it was because this was a dream or because of being reborn. Lu Hongjun's appetite had become huge. He polished off an entire pot of stew and also ate 5 flatbreads. These flatbreads were no small size. Each one was equivalent to a big steamed bun, the kind of big steamed bun from the Northeast, one bun weighing half a jin. Just after finishing his meal, while he was scrubbing the pot and washing the dishes, Qian Xingli came in carrying a piece of meat. "Brother Xingli, have you eaten yet?" Lu Hongjun quickly put down the bowls and chopsticks and went up to greet him. "I have. The black bear has been brought back. This is your share." As he spoke, Qian Xingli put the meat in his hand on the stone table. This was a piece of meat from the black bear's belly. The meat from a black bear's belly is all fat, and in this era, it was the most popular part. The fat could be rendered into bear oil. Bear oil used for stir-frying was even more fragrant than pork lard. Bear oil was not only delicious for cooking, it was also a very precious, nourishing traditional Chinese medicine. Bear oil can strengthen tendons and bones, nourish the blood and replenish deficiency, dispel rheumatism, moisturize the skin, and also treat frostbite. If your skin got frostbitten in winter, applying bear oil would heal it quickly. The slab of fat Qian Xingli brought to Lu Hongjun weighed about 20 jin. This was also the rule. After every hunt, when the village divided the meat, the hunters always got the largest shares. Otherwise, why would they risk going up into the mountains to hunt? Of course, this was because Yeshitin was still under the production team system and had not yet implemented the household contract responsibility system, nor had the family split up. When hunters went into the mountains to hunt, they had to count the game toward their work points. Every year, before the autumn harvest, the production team would organize a concentrated hunt. First, to prevent wild animals in the mountains from coming down and damaging the crops. Second, to hunt some wild game. To help the commune members replenish their strength so they would have the energy to work during the autumn harvest. "Brother Xingli, have some water." Lu Hongjun poured Qian Xingli a bowl of water and added a little white sugar to it. "Go ahead and get back to your work. I'm leaving." Qian Xingli picked up the bowl, drained it in one gulp, then turned and left briskly. "Brother Xingli, how were those wolf bones and bear bones handled? What do you want that stuff for?" The team leader said they'll be boiled tonight in the communal cauldron to improve everyone's meals. "Wolf bones and bear bones are both medicinal materials, so of course I want them," Lu Hongjun said. Naturally, Lu Hongjun could not say that he wanted the wolf bones and bear bones to make dog food. "Why didn't you say so earlier?" "Wait here, I'll go back and tell the team leader to save the bones for you." After saying that, Qian Xingli hurried off. At this time, the militia was at its busiest. They had to stand watch 24 hours a day to prevent wild animals from coming down from the mountains and damaging the crops, and also to keep wild animals from hurting people. Even so, almost every year someone was injured by wild animals. There were many widows in the village. Most of their men had been hurt by wild animals. Just after seeing off Qian Xingli, Lu Hongjun was about to render the bear fat into bear oil when a middle-aged woman walked in. "Aunt Guixiang is here." Seeing who it was, Lu Hongjun could only put down the fat and greet her. "Hongjun, I heard you killed a black bear and 2 wolves today?" Hom. Lu Hongjun nodded. Then he turned and went into the house, took out another bowl, poured her a bowl of water, and likewise added a little white sugar. Plain boiled water with a bit of sugar was, in this era, a very high form of courtesy when entertaining guests in the village. "Aunt Guixiang, have some water." Why be so polite with your aunt? I came over to see whether there were any clothes to wash. Just think about it. Now that your father is gone, he's left you all alone. How are you supposed to live like this? As Aunt Guixiang spoke, she started wiping away tears. Lu Hongjun was rendered speechless by this. The way she said it made it sound as if his father had died. This Yu Guixiang was a widow in the village. In her 30s, in the prime of her life, when her husband was clawed by a black bear while in the mountains. At the same time, she was also an old buddy of Lu Hongjuan's father and one of his support recipients. In the northeastern dialect, TZ doesn't mean what people online say it does. Not good brothers. That's all nonsense. In the northeast, TZ refers to a lover or sweetheart. In Beijing slang, it's called Bangjianer. With his dad gone down the mountain to see his eldest grandson, the one who probably misses him most is Yu Guixiang. Lu Hongjun, on the other hand, doesn't really care. Without his dad around, he's even more at ease. After all, he lost his mother when he was little. From a young age, he started studying traditional Chinese medicine with his dad, and at 16, he followed him into the mountains to hunt. He had always lived very independently, so Lu Hongjun truly didn't feel much of anything. The one who really doesn't know how she'll get by should be Aunt Guixiang here. After all, a widow in her 30s raising 3 half-grown children is definitely living a hard life. Half-grown children couldn't earn full work points when they went to work, but they didn't eat any less than adults. The days were hard enough, and the nights were even harder. You just get by somehow. I can do things like laundry and cooking myself. I've also spoken to Captain Yang about taking over my dad's post as the village medic. That's great. Being a village medic is pretty good. You're a grown man. How can you possibly keep up with all the housework? Later, I'll have your little sister Xiaojun come over to help you wash clothes and tidy up the house and such. No need, Aunt Guixiang. I'm an unmarried grown young man, and sister Xiaojun is already 16. It wouldn't be appropriate for her to come help me tidy up. It would easily stir up gossip. How would sister Xiaojun get married in the future? Lu Hongjun quickly refused. Before this, Yu Guixiang had already said she wanted to betroth her daughter to him, but his dad had turned her down. His dad had been quite clear-headed about this sort of thing. He had some spare money on hand and wasn't short of grain or meat, so helping support a widow was fine. But he couldn't let his son suffer along with it. And now, even knowing he was about to get engaged, she still wanted to send her daughter over to tidy up his house. Her intentions were obvious. Aunt Guixiang, back when my dad was home, you helped us quite a bit with mending and patching too. If you run into any difficulties in the future, just say so. If it's something I can do, I'll definitely help. Seeing that Yu Guixiang still wanted to speak, Lu Hongjun quickly cut her off and continued. If I can help, I definitely will. In other words, if I can't help, there's nothing I can do. Hongjun, you're just like your dad. Both of you so loyal and righteous. I know you may look down on me and think I'm not respectable, but what else can a widow like me do? These past years, it's only thanks to your dad helping me that we've managed. Otherwise, we, a widow and her children, really wouldn't know how to get by. As Yu Guixiang spoke, she wiped away tears again. Lu Hongjun couldn't help sighing inwardly. So after returning to this era, the first thing he had to face was the mess his dad had left behind. Aunt Guixiang, Xiaojun, and the others are all growing up now. Life will get better from here on. Just in time, Brother Xingli just brought me some bear meat. Take some back with you and let the younger brothers and sisters have something better to eat. Lu Hongjun picked up a knife and split the fatty meat in two, then handed one half to Yu Guixiang. How could that be okay? You should keep it and eat it yourself. We have food at home. Yu Guixiang quickly refused. Aunt Guixiang, just take it. How much can I eat by myself? You've got a big family. How could that little bit of meat you were allotted be enough? Lu Hongjun took a straw rope, tied up the meat, and stuffed it into Yu Guixiang's hands. Look at you, child. I came over saying I'd help you wash some clothes and tidy up the house. Yu Guixiang said with a face full of embarrassment. It's fine, Aunt Guixiang, just take it. I'm a grown young man with 2 hands and 2 feet. I can take care of things myself. Only after finally seeing Yu Guixiang off did Lu Hongjun let out a long breath. When facing Yu Guixiang, Lu Hongjun truly felt awkward. As someone with life experience, he didn't object to his dad helping poor widows. After all, men all have physical and emotional needs. My old man never remarried because of him. Occasionally helping someone out isn't a big deal. Everyone in the village knows, and no one gossips about it. A widow and a widower have nothing to do with morality anyway. After seeing Yu Guixiang off, Lu Hongjun went to check on the 2 wolf cubs. Good, the malted milk he had just mixed up had already been finished by them. As long as they're willing to eat, that's good. That means they can be kept alive. When raising wolf cubs, the biggest fear is that they refuse to eat. Fortunately, wolves are very tenacious creatures and relatively easy to keep alive. Lu Hongjun was thinking that later he should go to the production team and get some goat's milk to feed the 2 wolf cubs. Before he could go look for goat's milk, at noon the next day, Qian Shengli led in a pure white Mongolian sighthound, carrying a wooden box in his arms, and walked into Lu Hongjun's small courtyard. "Brother Hongjun, you home?" "I am. Brother Shengli is here? Come in and have a seat." Lu Hongjun came out of the house and greeted Qian Shengli. "No need to go in. Take a look at what I've brought you," Qian Shengli said with a grin. "Brother Shengli, this is..." Lu Hongjun already had a guess in his heart, but he didn't dare be sure, so he asked tentatively. "Haha, what a coincidence. Last night, my wife told me that her maternal family's uncle's elder brother's brother-in-law is Li Dabalai from Lushu Tan. A few nights ago, while Li Dabalai was on duty, he got gored by a wild boar. He was saved, but from now on he won't be able to run the mountains. So the hunting dogs at home are being put up for sale. So after arranging work this morning, I hurried over to Lushu Tan. This dog is Li Dabalai's lead dog, called Bainyo, a genuine Mongolian sighthound. This Bainyo is famous for ranging far and biting hard. She can identify wolves, wild boars, black bears, roe deer, and red deer. A single dog can fight a wild wolf. In the box are Bainyo's pups. There are 4 of them in total. They were all carefully selected by Li Dabalai and kept to take over in the future. Qian Shengli excitedly explained what had happened to Lu Hongjun. "Brother Shengli, was Li Dabalai badly hurt?" Instead of asking about the dogs, Lu Hongjun asked about Li Dabalai's condition. The 18 villages of Taipinggu are not exactly close, yet not that far either. They are all separated from one another by more than 10 kilometers and several hills, but the 18 villages intermarry, and if you trace it back, they can all claim some kinship. Although Lu Hongjun was an outsider, he had also heard of Li Dabalai and knew he really was a good marksman. His leg is broken. Even if it heals, he'll still limp when he walks, so there's no way he can run the mountains anymore. That's why he thought of letting go of the dogs in his hands, Qian Shengli said with a sigh. Lu Hongjun also sighed and lowered his head to look at the puppies in the box. As for Bainyo, there was no need to look further. She was a good dog. Her shoulder height was over 80 centimeters, and she must have weighed around 100 jin. She had a broad chest and wide back, with limbs that were thick yet long. Her head was not very big, but her muzzle was large, with gleaming white teeth, tongue hanging out, standing there quietly. Even in an unfamiliar environment, she neither howled nor barked wildly. A dog like this, one look and you could tell she was a good dog, with a smooth, glossy coat. It was obvious that Li Dabalai had cared for her with great dedication. As for the scars on her body, those were all medals of honor for a hunting dog. Most importantly, her coat color, pure white, has a special meaning over in Inner Mongolia, symbolizing auspiciousness. Besides, it said that Erlang Shen's Shaodian dog was also a pure white sighthound. What Lu Hongjun cared about even more was the puppy in the wooden box in Qian Shengli's arms. "Brother Shengli, look at us. We've been talking and talking. Hurry and put the wooden box down. It must be heavy to hold." Right. I've been so busy talking." Only then did Qian Shengli react. The wooden box was indeed not light to carry. The 4 puppies in the box looked to be about 3 or 4 weeks old. Having just opened their eyes, Lu Hongjun reached his hand in. All 4 puppies let out hissing whimpers in unison, first shrinking back, and then one pure white puppy suddenly lunged forward and opened its mouth to bite at Lu Hongjun's palm. As soon as the white puppy moved, the other 3 puppies also pounced along with it, making tender little cries from their mouths. Lu Hongjun felt a surge of joy. They really were good dogs. Especially that white puppy. It was an excellent prospect to become a lead dog. How about it? That white puppy will definitely grow into a fine lead dog, Qian Shengli said with a grin. It really is good. Lu Hongjun nodded. He also didn't ask how much the 5 dogs had cost. Earlier, when he gave the bear gallbladder from the brown bear to Qian Shengli, he had already made it clear that there was no need to give him his share of the money, just help him trade for a few dogs. That bear gallbladder was a copper gallbladder. Although a brown bear's gallbladder was not as valuable as a black bear's at current prices, it could still be worth 7 or 800 yuan. Buying these 5 dogs, 1 big and 4 small, would cost at most only 200 yuan. According to the rules in the mountains, the bear gallbladder should be divided into 5 shares, and since he had contributed the most, he got 2 shares. Qian Shengli got 1 share, Qian Shengli's lead dog Heihu got 1 share, and Aunt Hohot got 1 share. The money from his 2 shares was enough to buy these 5 dogs. Brother Xingli, help me send a message to Li Dabalatsi. Tell him I have a way to treat his leg injury and can keep his leg from having any lasting after effects. I can't promise anything else, but at the very least he won't be limping when he walks in the future. Lu Hongjun said this to Qian Xingli while teasing the puppies. Brother Hongjun, you know how to do that too? Brother Xingli, my family's medical skills were picked up halfway, but we used to practice martial arts. I can't guarantee anything else, but for sprains and bruises, I can absolutely vouch for it. Lu Hongjun said with a smile. All right. Then later I'll have someone pass a message to Li Dabalatsi. Lucky old bastard. I'm only asking him for a few dogs, and he still grumbles and complains to me. Hearing that Lu Hongjun could treat him, Qian Xingli was also very happy. From his words, it was clear that Qian Xingli and Li Dabalatsi knew each other well. Still, it was normal for Li Dabalatsi to be reluctant. If it were him, he wouldn't be willing to give Bai Niu away either. Well then, Brother Hongjun, you get busy. I have to go. It's the autumn harvest now, and there are endless things to do in the production team all day. As Qian Xingli spoke, he handed the rope tied to Huan Yu over to Lu Hongjun. This was the handover. Although this simple handover ceremony might look trivial, to a dog, it was incomparably important, because it meant a change of owner. Oh dear, look at me. I've been so busy talking that I even forgot to pour Brother Xingli some water. No need to bother. I'm leaving. Brother Xingli, I won't say thanks. We brothers still have a long road ahead of us. If there's ever a place where you need your brother, just give me a shout. Lu Hongjun politely saw Qian Xingli off. Lu Hongjun first tied Huan Yu in the big dog pen, then took the 4 puppies out one by one and put them into the puppy pen, placing them together with the little wolf cub. Like the little wolf cub, the 4 puppies were all still in the nursing stage. The malted milk that Lu Hongjun had prepared yesterday, the little wolf cub did drink it, but in the end it was still not as nutritious as nursing. I had originally been thinking of getting some goat's milk, but now this works out perfectly. First, let the 4 puppies and the 2 wolf cubs play together for a while, so their scents can mingle, then wait a little. Then lead Bai Niu into the puppy pen to nurse the puppies and the wolf cubs. The 4 puppies and the 2 wolf cubs huddled together, sniffed each other at first, and before long started roughhousing together. The 4 puppies and 2 wolf cubs were all still unsteady on their feet, and watching them tumble around together was very amusing. To use a term from later generations, they were just adorable. After settling the puppies, Lu Hongjun first poured a little clean water into the dog bowl, then turned and went into the cellar to take out 2 bear meat bones with some meat still on them and tossed them to Bai Niu. Bai Niu did not hurry to eat. Instead, she quietly sized up Lu Hongjun. Bai Niu, let's get acquainted. From now on, I'm your master, and starting today, your name is Li Hua, the Li Hua of Fan Li Hua. Bai Niu doesn't deserve your valor. From now on, follow me, and I guarantee you'll eat well and live well. Lu Hongjun stepped forward and tentatively stroked Bai Niu's. No, Li Hua's neck fur. Woof. Woof woof. Li Hua barked twice at Lu Hongjun before lowering her head to gnaw on the meaty bone. Seeing that Li Hua had started eating, only then did Lu Hongjun turn around to prepare food for Li Hua. He took out 2 strips of air-dried wolf meat from the cellar, smashed them with a hammer, then put them on the small stone mill and ground them into meat powder. He gathered up the wolf meat powder and set it aside for later use. Then he took out a few wolf bones and, in the same way, crushed and ground them into powder. After that, Lu Hongjun took out some medicinal herbs and ground those into powder as well. This small stone mill was used by his father to process medicinal herbs. Lu Hongjun added a ladle of water to the pot and lit the fire. Then he grabbed 2 large handfuls of cornmeal and 2 handfuls of bean flour. Then added 2 handfuls of wolf meat powder, 2 handfuls of wolf bone powder, and some powdered Chinese medicine into the pot, along with a little salt, and stirred slowly. The pot of wolf meat cornmeal mush Lu Hongjun cooked was also a kind of medicinal cuisine. The wolf meat in it could nourish the 5 internal organs, strengthen the stomach and intestines, and replenish essence and marrow. Wolf bones could strengthen tendons and bones, benefit the bones and qi, strengthen the waist and kidneys, and clear the meridians. The Chinese medicinal ingredients he added were for strengthening muscles and bones. This medicinal cuisine was prepared for Li Hua. Eating this kind of dog food over the long term could make Li Hua even more valiant. The puppies and wolf cubs had not yet been weaned, so after they were weaned, Lu Hongjun would also feed them specially made dog food, raised from a young age on specially made dog food, and then, when they got a bit bigger, supplemented with raw meat. Hunting dogs raised this way would grow even larger than Li Hua, with stronger muscles and bones, and be even fiercer. Only when it came to a boil did he remove the fire from under the pot. He ladled out the cornmeal mush from the pot, set it aside, and waited for it to cool before feeding it to the dogs. This pot was the one Lu Hongjun used for cooking, so after making the dog food, he still had to scrub it clean, since he would need it to make lunch in a little while. After scrubbing the pot clean, Lu Hongjun unhurriedly prepared lunch for himself. Even if he was alone, he still had to eat well. There were no more wawatu left at home. And just now Lu Hongjun had been about to steam some wawatu, but Qian Shengli's arrival had interrupted him. First he took out the old starter dough and soaked it in water. Then he scooped 2 ladles of cornmeal from the flour jar, another ladle of bean flour, and 1 ladle of white flour, mixed them together, and began kneading the dough. While kneading, he poured in the water from soaking the old starter and kneaded it all together. The purpose of old starter dough is to act as yeast. In the countryside, no one uses yeast. Whenever they steam buns, they save a piece of dough and put it in the flour jar. That is old starter dough. While the buns were steaming, he went on to stir-fry some dishes. By the time he finished eating, it was already past 1 in the afternoon. After the meal, Lu Hongjun fed the dog food, which had already cooled, to Li Hua. Watching Li Hua wolf down the special dog food he had made, Lu Hongjun smiled happily. It seemed that the dog food he made himself was quite popular. After Li Hua finished eating the dog food, Lu Hongjun walked into the large dog pen, led Li Hua to the small dog pen, and tied it beside the doghouse. The reason for tying it up was because although the dog pen had walls, they were only a little over 1 meter high, nowhere near enough to keep a dog in. Li Hua had just arrived at the house and was still unfamiliar with everything, so it couldn't be let loose. After a week or so, once it had completely gotten used to the place, the rope would be removed. After tying up Li Hua, Lu Hongjun did not leave in a hurry. Instead, he nervously watched Li Hua and the 2 wolf cubs. At this moment, Li Hua was like a stepmother, while the wolf cubs were like stepchildren. Whether they would survive depended on the mood of this stepmother, Li Hua. Fortunately, Li Hua's attention was not on the pups at all. After entering the small dog pen, it crawled into the doghouse and lay down, and the 4 little puppies rushed up impatiently, each latching onto a teat and suckling contentedly. The 2 wolf cubs also rushed up and squeezed in with the 4 puppies to nurse. Seeing that Li Hua did not drive them away, Lu Hongjun finally felt relieved. As long as it didn't drive them away the first time, that meant it had accepted them. After coming out of the dog pen, Lu Hongjun did not idle around either. He took out all the air-dried wolf meat in the house, then found the wolf bones the family had stored and ground them all into powder with the small stone mill. According to the proportions, he added cornmeal and bean flour, bone meal, meat meal, and Chinese herbal powder, mixed them evenly, and then put the mixture into the pot to dry steam. Dry steaming was to cook the mixed dog food thoroughly. The next time he fed it, there would be no need to boil it in a pot. He could just add a little hot water, stir it, and feed it to the dogs. This was the lazy person's method. If you wanted to be more refined, you could make a mold. After mixing the dog food, put it into the mold and shape it like bones or chicken drumsticks. That was the kind of dog food people had in later generations. Junzi Ji. 2 young men, 1 tall and 1 short, 1 fat and 1 thin, ran in. Junzi Ji, I heard you went into the mountains to hunt today? Dashin, sure to. You 2 didn't go to work today? Lu Hongjun asked with a smile. These 2 were his childhood friends, the 2 best playmates he had in Yushu Tan. The tall, fat one was called Yang Jinshan, nicknamed Dashin, and the short, thin one was called Qianlei, nicknamed Shurtu. We stood night watch yesterday, so we're resting during the day. Have you eaten? We have. Junzi Ji, next time you go into the mountains to hunt, can you take us with you? Shurtu asked expectantly. Did your parents agree to let you follow me into the mountains to hunt? As soon as Lu Hongjun said that, the 2 immediately lowered their heads, looking a bit dejected. Going into the mountains to hunt was no easy job. It was hard, tiring, and dangerous. People who don't understand the trade always feel that going into the mountains to hunt is great. The family never lacks meat to eat, and if you bag a black bear, that's a whole year's income. They only see hunters eating meat, but forget the hardships and exposure hunters endure, and that for many hunters, their final resting place is the mountains. If you make your living from the mountains, in the end you may have to repay the mountains with your life. If my family agrees, can you take us hunting in the mountains, Junzi Ji? Sure, as long as your family agrees. I'll take you into the mountains to hunt. Lu Hongjun nodded firmly. Going into the mountains to hunt, whether hunting with dogs or on a hunting drive, you need a helper. Lu Hongjun also wanted to train 1 or 2 trustworthy helpers he knew well. Dashin and Shurtu were undoubtedly the best candidates. But their families had to agree first, Otherwise, Lu Hongjun definitely couldn't take them into the mountains. I heard Uncle Shengli say you brought back 2 wolf cubs from the mountains this time? Qianlei remembered what he had come for. Hom. Lu Hongjun nodded and led them over to the dog pen. You can't go in. Liwa has only just come to our home and is still a bit irritable. Lu Hongjun only let them stand outside the dog pen and look. Going inside to see was out of the question. Liwa had just changed to a new environment and was also nursing. Dogs like that are the ones you mustn't provoke, and even Lu Hongjun was very careful when feeding her. At this moment, both the puppies and the wolf cubs had already eaten their fill and were pouncing on each other, roughhousing and playing in the dog pen. That one, pure white all over without a single stray hair, is a wolf cub, a white wolf. And that black-gray one is also a wolf cub. The other white one, the one with a tuft of black hair on its tail, is a Mongolian sighthound, and the other 3 black-striped ones are also Mongolian sighthounds. Lihua and the 4 Mongolian sighthound puppies were all found for me by Brother Shengli. Lu Hongjun introduced them to the 2 boys. According to seniority, Qianlei had to call Qian Shengli uncle, a close relative from the same clan. However, Lu Hongjun wasn't related to them, so everyone addressed each other separately. That white wolf is really fierce, and that little white dog is fierce too. Leaning on the wall, Dashin looked enviously at the puppies and wolf cubs playing in the dog pen. Have you named them yet? I have. That white puppy has the potential to be a lead dog, so he's called Chow Chow. As for the other 3 black-striped dogs, the one with white fur on its ears is called Dian Wei, the one with white fur on its paws is called Su Chu, and the one with white fur above its eyes is called Xiao Dan. Dian Wei? Su Chu? Junzi Ji, those are all people's names. Dashin asked in some surprise. Yeah. Do you know the 3 kingdoms? What's the 3 kingdoms? 3 countries? Sure Tu asked blankly. The 3 kingdoms is. Lu Hongjun got a little stuck, not knowing how to explain the 3 kingdoms to these 2 semi-literate boys who had only finished lower primary school. Yeshitin was located deep in the mountains, and the village only had a lower primary school. In the village primary school, you could only study up to 3rd grade. If you wanted to attend upper primary or middle school, you had to go to the headquarters of Tapinga Forest Farm. And for high school, you had to go to the seat of the Dehalen Forestry Bureau. So most young people only studied up to 3rd grade, at a lower primary level. The 3 Kingdoms is a novel about stories from the Han Dynasty. How about this? Next time I go to the market, I'll buy you some 3 Kingdoms comic books, and once you've read them, you'll understand. Lu Hongjun suddenly remembered that in this era, comic books of the 3 Kingdoms had already come out, and he could buy a set. It would be pretty nice to read them himself too. The comic book editions of the 4 great classical novels from this era were still very exquisitely made. The illustrations inside were all drawn by famous painters. They were highly collectible. Although it was a spur-of-the-moment idea, Lu Hongjun still planned to take a look the next time he went to the market, and if they had them, buy a set of the 4 great classical novels along with other comic books to collect. Later on, in the 1980s and 1990s, this kind of comic book was still sold, but the printing quality and the source material for the illustrations in those editions couldn't compare with those from before the 1970s. Dashin and Shirtu lay on the courtyard wall, watching for quite a while before reluctantly leaving. As they left, they kept muttering that they wanted to find a puppy to raise too, so that once it grew up, it could follow Lu Hongjun into the mountains to hunt. At dusk, Lu Hongjun's elder brother came rushing to Yeshitin, leading a wolf dog in his hand. Junzi, I heard you're not joining the army after all, and are staying in Yeshitin to be a medic? As soon as Lu Hongba entered the door, he stared at Lu Hongjun and asked. Lu Hongjun nodded. You. Lu Hongba wanted to scold him, but thinking of his younger brother's temperament, he opened his mouth. But in the end he still didn't scold him. He just sighed, took out a Type 54 pistol from his bag, and handed it to Lu Hongjun. Take this. From now on, when you go into the mountains, carry it with you. After saying that, he took out another box of pistol bullets. Thanks, big brother. Bullshit. Why are you being polite with me? Lu Hongba finally cursed. Alright, I won't be polite with you. How's my big nephew? In a few days, when I come down from the mountain, I'll go see my big nephew. Lu Hongjun smiled, reached out, and took the rope from Lu Hongba's hand. And as for the dog his brother brought, Lu Hongjun didn't stand on ceremony at all, nor did he decline or anything. He directly tied the dog in the big dog pen and casually poured it some water. When a new dog arrives home, let it drink some water first and feed it a little later in the evening. Once our dad found out you were staying, he had someone get this dog and told me to bring it over to you. He said in a few days, he'll look around for a few more good dogs for you. That sounds great. Our dad definitely knows his dogs. Lu Hongjun said happily. You're raising dogs again? When I came in just now, I heard barking, but I didn't pay attention earlier. Only now did Lu Hongba ask. Brother Xingli helped find them, lead to Pockmark's lead dog, and 4 puppies. Lu Hongjun explained briefly. This dog is really nice. What's its name? Lu Hongba walked over to the dog pen and commented as he looked at the big white dog inside. Lihua, what about the little ones? That white one is called Chow Chow. The one with white fur on its ears is called Dian Wei. The one with white fur on its feet is called Su Zhu. And the one with white fur above its eyes is called Xiahou Dun. You're not raising dogs at all. You've turned this into Romance of the 3 Kingdoms. Then that other white one. That's a wolf cub? That's right, Brother Xingli and I dug out 2 wolf cubs. Actually, Lu Hongjun had just come up with these names off the cuff. He really hadn't planned to name them so early before. Originally, he had meant to tease Dashin and Shirley a bit, but after calling them out, he felt they were actually pretty good. Especially Chow Chow, that was a male dog, and if he turned out well, he would definitely have to find it several female dogs so it could have many descendants. Of course, that white wolf was also pretty good, with the potential to become a lead dog, and its potential was no less than Chow Chow's. White wolves have a hard time growing up, but once they survive and mature, they often become wolf kings. Whether in adapted novels or in mythological stories, white wolves are all extremely formidable beings. This is also because during their youth, they endure more hardships than other wild wolves. The edge of a sword comes from grinding, and the fragrance of plum blossoms comes from bitter cold. Every hardship is a step toward growth. And when white wolves are young, they go through too many hardships. If they want to survive, they have to make themselves even stronger. So, in Lu Hongjun's view, the white wolf's growth potential was greater than that of the white dog Chow Chow. What are the 2 wolf cubs called? I haven't named them yet. Let's wait and see. I thought you were going to call one Liu Bei. Lu Hongba teased. If it can be trained up, the name Liu Bei isn't worthy of it. At the very least, it should be called Qin Shi Huang or Emperor Wu of Han. What if it can't be trained? Then call it a doe. Lu Hongjun said casually. It was great chatting with his elder brother. Whatever he said, his brother could always keep up. Unlike before, when he mentioned Chow Chow to Dashin and Shirtu, both of them just looked baffled. Who was Chow Chow? All right, you're the one who knows how to name things. What's this? You're not eating this, are you? Lu Hongba turned his head and saw the basin on the stone table. As he spoke, he grabbed a little and put it in his mouth. That's the dog food I made. It was just steamed not long ago. Lu Hongjun explained with a smile. Pooh, what did you steam it with? It smells pretty good. Lu Hongba spat it right out, then savored the taste for a moment before smiling and saying again. There's wolf meat, wolf bones, plus cornmeal and bean flour. And also eucalyptus bark, mistletoe, acaranthes, sabodium rhizome, and dried ginger, among other Chinese medicinal herbs. You're really a spendthrift. Lu Hongba laughed as he cursed. Lu Hongba had never gone hunting with them. And long ago their father had pulled strings to send him to the high school of the Dahalan Forestry Bureau. Later, at the cost of a single grade 5 wild ginseng leaf, he got him into the Tapingu Forest Farm under the Forestry Bureau. So he really couldn't understand why Lu Hongjun and their father treated the dogs even better than they treated themselves. Lu Hongjun just chuckled and didn't explain much. If you're not a hunter, you won't understand a hunter's feelings for his dogs. He went into the cellar, took out a piece of meat, then went to the back and picked a few eggplants. Tonight I'll make stewed eggplant, then stir-fry some cabbage, and the 2 of you brothers can have a drink? Lu Hongjun said to Lu Hongba. All right, then let's have a drink. Lu Hongba sat on the stone stool, watching Lu Hongjun bustle about, with no intention of helping. It wasn't that he didn't want to help. He simply didn't know how. Lu Hongba studied all the way through high school and basically never did any housework. After graduating from high school and entering the forest farm, he married a wife not long afterward. After getting married, he became even more the type to have his clothes handed to him and his meals served right to him. Lu Hongjun didn't call on him to help either. For this bit of work, having Lu Hongba help would only cause more trouble. He washed the eggplants clean and tore them into small chunks with his hands. Then cut the meat into small pieces half a centimeter thick. This meat had been stored from before, pork belly from a sow wild boar. This kind of pork belly was no worse than that of a domesticated pig. Lu Hongjun moved very deftly, and before long he had the eggplant stewing, then went to the backyard and cut a head of cabbage to bring back. He broke open the cabbage, washed it twice, shredded it, then rinsed it once more with water, scooped it out, and set it aside to drain. After the cabbage has drained, it has to be stir-fried over high heat to keep it tender and crisp, so it'll taste good. Cooking by himself, Lu Hongjun didn't seem rushed at all, calm and unhurried. He glanced over and saw the stewed eggplant pot had come to a boil. Put in the steaming rack, placed the corn buns for dinner on it, and covered it with the lid. Let it keep gently simmering over low heat a while longer. By the time the eggplant had reduced enough, the corn buns would be steamed through as well. Just as Lu Hongjun was busy, the courtyard gate was suddenly kicked open. Lu Hongjun, get out here. Someone stood at the doorway shouting his name. Lu Hongjun came out of the kitchen and into the yard. Lu Hongjun, the bear our brothers hunted ended up letting you reap the benefit. What do you have to say about that? 4 men barged into Lu Hongjun's home, and one of them pointed at him and demanded loudly. Lu Hongjun knew all of these men. They were the village's notorious hooligans. They called themselves hunters, but no one had ever seen them bring down any prey, and day after day the few of them just hung around together, stealing chickens and dogs, prying open widows' doors. Godan, you've really grown some nerve, huh? Drank a couple of liang of cat piss, and you dare come here to make trouble? Lu Hongjun looked coldly at the 4 men, including Godan. UTM. Godan had only cursed out a few words before someone kicked him in the lower belly, sending his whole body flying backwards several meters, and with a thud he dropped to his knees on the ground. The other 3, seeing Godan get beaten, had just started to make a move when a gun was pressed against Aaron Yozi's forehead. Go ahead, try moving and see what happens. I'll blow your damn head off. Lu Hongba pressed the gun against Aaron Yozi's head and said coldly. Lu Hongba was a security section officer at the Tapinga Forest Farm, so he naturally carried a gun. Big brother, it's not worth it over this bunch of trash. If you blow them away, you'll have to write a report. Too much trouble. Next time we go into the mountains, I'll kill them and dump them there. Lu Hongjun stepped forward and pressed down on Lu Hongba's arm, saying with a smile. Although Lu Hongjun spoke with a smile, to Aaron Yozi and the others, it sounded even more frightening than having a gun pressed to their foreheads. Is that something a human would say? Killing them here means writing a report is troublesome, but killing them in the mountains isn't troublesome? Especially with the killing intent filling Lu Hongjun's faint laughter. This was the killing intent Lu Hongjun had built up in the army, amid mountains of corpses and seas of blood. That aura terrified Aaron Yozi and the others. Without killing a dozen or 20 people, how could anyone have such heavy killing intent? At this moment, Aaron Yozi was starting to regret following Godan here to cause trouble for Lu Hongjun. Back when his father was around, even if you lent Godan, Aaron Yozi, and the others 3 times the guts, they wouldn't have dared come here to stir up trouble. It was only because they heard Lu Hongjun's father had gone down the mountain to see his grandson, and that only Lu Hongjun, a half-grown kid, was left at home. Then they heard Lu Hongjun had gone into the mountains and killed a bear, and after drinking a little at noon, the few of them talked it over and planned to come extort Lu Hongjun. In their eyes, Lu Hongjun was just an 18-year-old half-grown kid. If they scared him a little, how could they not squeeze a little drinking money out of him? What they hadn't expected was that Lu Hongjun's older brother Lu Hongba had actually come. Before they had even exchanged a few words, one of them had been kicked flat on the ground, and then someone pointed a gun at their heads. The booze had already worn off for Aaron Yozi and the other 3. Shivering, they didn't dare move or speak. Although the Lu family were outsiders who had fled famine to the northeast in 1960, and were a lone household in Yushitan, among the 18 villages of Tapingu, who would dare provoke old Lu's family? It's nothing. If they broke into my home to rob me and I shot them dead, writing a report wouldn't be a big deal. I'm used to that. As Lu Hongba spoke, he raised the gun again. In this era, security section cadres had gun permits and law enforcement authority. Especially deep in these mountains, killing someone really could be settled by just writing a report. Especially Godan, Aaron Yozi, Sanlizi, and Air Peasy. These 4 had long records of bad deeds and were already on file with the Forest Farm security section. Godan, Aaron Yozi, you little bastards, making trouble the moment you get back to the village, huh? Just as Aaron Yozi and the others were trembling so hard they were about to piss themselves, a sudden shout came from outside. To Aaron Yozi and the others, that shout sounded like the voice of salvation, incomparably beautiful. Their hearts relaxed, and then a warm stream appeared in their crotches. Lu Hongjun caught a whiff of urine and quickly pulled Lu Hongba back 2 steps. At this moment, Qian Shengli arrived on the scene with a dozen or so militiamen. Qian Shengli had been at the brigade headquarters assigning the militiamen their night watch duties when he heard a villager come report that Godan, Aaron Yozi, and the other 2 had entered the village and gone to trouble Lu Hongjun. So he quickly brought people over here. After arriving, He saw Lu Hongjuan's front door crookedly collapsed to one side, and Gooden lying on the ground. They had definitely come to blows. Qian Xingli still had great faith in Lu Hongjuan's fighting ability. "Tie them up for me." Qian Xingli didn't give the four of them any chance to explain and directly waved his hand and ordered the militiamen behind him. The four of them were thrilled by Qian Xingli's appearance and cooperatively let the militiamen tie them up. "Bozi is back." Only then did Qian Xingli notice Lu Hongba standing beside Lu Hongjun and greeted him with a smile. "Just got here not long ago. I didn't expect that as soon as I got back, I'd run into this. Is this because they thought they could bully my little brother while he was here alone in the village?" Lu Hongba said with a faint smile. "Bozi, don't worry about that. Your brother is my brother. Absolutely no one will bully Junzi. I've wanted to deal with these four bastards for a long time. Just watch how I deal with them this time, and that'll be that." Qian Xingli quickly patted his chest and guaranteed. The 18 hamlets of Taipinggu all depended on the Taipinggu forest farm for their livelihood, and the forest farm's influence over those 18 hamlets was considerable. "All right then, I'll leave my little brother in your care. But if my little brother gets bullied, I won't be happy about it. Don't worry. Whoever dares bully Junzi is making an enemy of me. I'll make sure to teach them a harsh lesson." Qian Xingli said loudly. "Brother Xingli, you haven't eaten yet, have you? Come in and have a bite with us." Lu Hongjun quickly invited him. "No, I won't go in. I'll head back first to deal with those four bastards. I still have to go stand night watch tonight." Qian Xingli waved his hand and said, "All right then, I won't keep you. After the autumn harvest is over, the two of us brothers will have a good drink." Lu Hongba said with a smile. "All right, when the autumn harvest is over, I'll come down from the mountain to find you." After saying that, Qian Xingli left in a brisk, bustling manner again. The people around who had been watching the excitement also gradually dispersed. Lu Hongjun didn't mind that no one had spoken up for him just now. For one thing, no one dared provoke Gooden and the other four, and for another, there hadn't been time. Gooden had only said a couple of sentences before Lu Hongba knocked him to the ground with one kick. Still, someone had gone to report it to the militia squad. That was a favor, and later he could ask Qian Xingli who it was, so that he could repay the favor in the future. "Captain, how should we deal with these four brats?" Back at the brigade headquarters, a militiaman asked Qian Xingli. "Tie them to the trees first, and tomorrow hang placards on them and parade them through the streets." Qian Xingli said angrily. Having just been mocked a few times by Lu Hongba, Qian Xingli was full of pent-up anger with nowhere to vent it. Gooden and the other four had really walked right into the line of fire. Being tied to a tree for one night would cost them half their lives, and then being paraded through the streets. After that, they'd really be like rats crossing the street. Though that wasn't quite right either. They were already pretty much like rats crossing the street, except no one was shouting for them to be beaten. People just didn't want to provoke these street loafers and could only despise them in their hearts. "Captain Qian, Uncle Qian, we were wrong. We'll never dare do it again. Uncle Qian, we didn't really do anything. It was just Gooden who kicked the door once, and then he was kicked flying several meters by the eldest Lu brother. When Gooden, Ernuzzi, and the others heard that they'd be tied up for a night, and then paraded through the streets, they immediately wailed and pleaded with Qian Xingli. Didn't do much? What else did you want to do? If I'd arrived one step later, you little bastards would all have been lying there. Is the old Lu family someone easy to mess with? Every one of you has lard in your brains, and yet you still dared to go looking for Lu Hongjun. That kid trained in martial arts with his father since childhood and was hunting in the mountains by the age of 16. Even bears, he'd dare charge at with a knife. Going to pick trouble with him. You really are an old fool hanging himself, tired of living." Qian Xingli pointed at them and cursed loudly. Two of them are from the old Qian family's side. Otherwise, Qian Xingli couldn't be bothered to waste so much breath on them. Ernuzzi and the others immediately shuddered. They remembered what Lu Hongjun had said. When they went into the mountains later, he'd find a chance to kill them there. That didn't sound like an empty threat at all. "Uncle Qian, save us. Uncle Qian, we were wrong. We'll accept any beating or punishment. Just save us." Ernuzzi and San Lizi cried and begged Qian Xingli to save them. "What nonsense are you spouting? Who wants your lives? If killing people wasn't against the law, you lot would have died 8 times over already." Qian Xingli cursed irritably. "Uncle Qian, that Lu Hongjun said that when we go into the mountains, he'll kill us." San Lizi said through tears. Qian Xingli turned serious. "Did he really say that?" "Yeah." His brother pressed a gun to Ernuzzi's head and said he'd blow his brains out. Lu Hongjun said writing a report was too much trouble, so he'd wait until they went into the mountains and find a chance to kill us. San Lizi said, snot and tears running all over his face. Look at your tiny bit of nerve. Can't you just not go into the mountains? Qian Shengli sneered. Uncle Qian, if we don't go into the mountains, what are we supposed to eat? Ernyozi said with a mournful face. These street loafers live by going into the mountains to set traps and catch some wild game, then taking it down to the camp at the foot of the mountain to sell it for liquor and grain. Of course, if you expect people like them to honestly set traps and check traps properly, that's impossible. They specialized in looking for traps set by other people. Once they found one, whatever was in it was theirs, and they wouldn't leave a thing for the owner. If they ran into someone easygoing, fine, but if they met someone hot-tempered, Gooden and the other three had taken plenty of beatings too. Once, the four of them learned from who knows where and actually dug a dead-end pit in the mountains, hoping to catch wild boars. They did catch wild boars, but the four of them were almost beaten to death. It was only because their parents went all over town kneeling and kowtowing that their lives were spared. Dead-end pits are taboo among mountain hunters. What they trap isn't just wild animals, but hunters who go into the mountains as well. Decades ago, dead-end pits even sparked an armed clash between two villages. After that, those four guys didn't dare dig dead-end pits anymore and instead stole traps set by others. Although everyone was furious enough to grind their teeth, there was nothing they could do about them. Ordinary people really couldn't handle these four scoundrel hooligans and could only resign themselves to bad luck. This gradually made the four of them even more lawless. Qian Shengli looked at the four of them somewhat puzzled. These four bastards weren't the type to piss themselves from just a few words. If that were the case, they'd have turned over a new leaf long ago. What he didn't know was that the killing intent on Lu Hongjun had been forged on the battlefield, steeped in bloodshed and mountains of corpses. That killing intent had long since seeped into his soul. It hadn't disappeared just because he was reborn. Not only Aaron Yozi and the other two facing Lu Hongjun directly, Gooden had been kicked away. Even Lu Hongba standing beside him was somewhat surprised by the killing intent on his younger brother. However, since he wasn't facing it directly, he didn't think much of it and only assumed it came from spending so much time in the mountains and killing so many wild beasts. Their old man carried even heavier killing intent. No matter how fierce a dog was, one look from him would scare it into tucking its tail and running. Qian Shengli didn't take it seriously, thinking only that the four guys were making a scene to avoid punishment, so he paid them no more attention. He turned and went to the team canteen to eat. After eating, he still had to go stand night watch. Right now was the critical period. They still had to tough it out for another 3 days. Only after the crops were all harvested would their task be considered finished.